Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. At the moment, following Ahsoka Season 1, the Star Wars news cycle is very slow. As such, we're going to look at some wild rumours that have emerged on Reddit about the Rey movie, the one set after Episode 9 about Rey's Jedi Academy. And I will just posit as a disclaimer, it's far too early to tell how reliable these are, take it with a pinch of salt. So this is the information they reveal. If all goes well, the Rey movie is going to start filming in April at Pinewood Studios. They say Stephen Knight, the new writer, has finished 3 drafts before the strike. And now that the writer's strike has come to an end, I presume he's going to carry on. Now it's just the actor's strike. Apparently the first draft was without Finn, and the second with. And I imagine this is due to the uncertainty of if John Boyega is going to return. But they do address this by saying John Boyega was in advanced talks to return, but talks stopped when the SAG-AFTRA strike began. They also say Kathleen Kennedy wanted a female director, and Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, who is now confirmed to be the director as we know from Star Wars Celebration, came from a recommendation from Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel Studios of course. And they say he is looking to talk to one of the big directors of Star Wars for an upcoming MCU project. They speculate Rick Famuyiwa or Bryce Dallas Howard. So about the plot itself, this rumour claims the movie is about 2 Jedi Padawans, a boy and a girl. Yasmeen Fetcher and Aramis Knight are the top choices for them at this stage. The girl is apparently called Tyler and the boy is called Deke. Now on to the juicy bits. Given it's set after the Rise of Skywalker, so after the Battle of Exegol, there is no First Order stuff and no Resistance. That was apparently supposed to be in Rogue Squadron, and Poe Dameron is not in the first draft of the film. The title is apparently Star Wars A New Beginning, but of course, this is probably just provisional. Given the amount of changes that take place in production, I can't imagine this is set in stone. If, and a big if, this rumour is even true. So in terms of returning characters, Ben Solo, presumably in flashbacks or as a Force ghost, BB-8, C-3PO, R2-D2, D-O, and Luke Skywalker are expected to return. Now, given Mark Hamill's comments about not wanting to dilute Luke, I don't know how true this is, but of course Mark might be playing coy, the paycheck might be very good, and a bit of a red flag for me is the fact they mention BB-8, C-3PO, R2, and D-O. Very obvious guesses. If this was legit, they probably would have some more juicy scoops about other characters, but the droids, in my opinion, are very obvious. Of course BB-8 is going to return, and probably the likes of D-O, 3PO, and R2-D2 as well. And I know I've already said this a couple of times, question everything you read on the internet, but these kind of wild rumours and leaks are very fun, even if they're not always true. However, there have been times they have been. I mean, think back to the user Jedi Paxis, who leaked the majority of the plot for the Rise of Skywalker, but no one believed him, because no one wanted to believe him. Nearly everything the user posted ended up being true in Episode 9. I remember when it came out that Rey was going to be Palpatine's granddaughter, everyone freaked out, insisting there is no way they're going to do that. And look how that turned out. So there we go, those are the rumours that we have at this time. Star Wars A New Beginning as a title would make sense, but I've got a feeling it's going to be something such as New Jedi Academy or something related to the role of Rey. So this is really interesting. Amidst a bunch of shows which have been announced for Star Wars but never came to fruition, I'm thinking specifically about what was announced in 2020 at Disney Investor Day, which included A Droid Story, Rogue Squadron, Lando, Rangers of the New Republic. We know the reason some of those were cancelled or shelved, and in the case of Lando, it's undergone a revamp by the Glover brothers instead of Justin Simeon. But there were projects announced at the Disney Showcase in 2020, some of which were just ideas and not concrete shows and films. This comes from sffgazette.com, and they're citing a new book which is titled MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, which claims Kathleen Kennedy for Lucasfilm and Kevin Feige for MCU were pressured into announcing projects before they were ready by Disney. And the book is making the claim they were forced to garner ideas that were in the works in the pipeline, but were not always definitive. In the case of Ahsoka, The Acolyte, Kenobi, Andor, these are concrete, even if at the time of making this video, not all of those have come out. But when we're talking about some others, such as A Droid Story, apparently the book states there was disparity and a divide between Disney and Lucasfilm in terms of the vision for Star Wars and Marvel Studios. Now you might be wondering, well, how credible is this claim? Who is this author? While I didn't know too much about this person until I did some research on this topic, Joanna Robinson is a podcaster and cultural critic for The Ringer. She's well connected in the industry and used to work for Vanity Fair. She's been the panel moderator for several film festivals, and so I would say there is a good chance this is true. The claim she's making has legitimacy to it. But it has been a pretty good run. I think it would be exaggerative to say the majority never released. It's only been a couple. We've had Mando, Ahsoka, Andor, Kenobi, Bad Batch Visions, The Acolyte is coming soon, and there is one which did release, but Lucasfilm took it down. It's not Star Wars, but it is Lucasfilm, and now it's back in the news. I'm talking about Willow, the Disney Plus series that acts as the sequel to the 1988 film, The Fantasy Adventure by George Lucas. I love the original movie, and I really liked the first half of the series. But what happened? Well, Disney Plus took it down. That was big news at the time. Fans of the show were confused, general audiences were very confused. Why did they take it off? It's almost like they were embarrassed by it. I know numbers-wise it did not do as Disney anticipated. However, it was beloved by the passionate Willow fanbase. And now, Warwick Davis, Willow himself, who also has a ton of acting credits in the Star Wars franchise, dating back to the original trilogy, has directly called out Disney. Here is his tweet. I meet lovely people on a daily basis who are fans of Willow, who are the reason the Disney Plus series was made. Please tell me, and then he tags the Walt Disney Company. What do I say to these subscribers when they ask why they can't watch the series anymore? #embarrassing. And I feel really sorry for him. I was lucky enough to be one of those in attendance at the premiere in London of Willow, and Warwick was there on stage, along with Jonathan Kasdan, and just hearing Warwick at the start pour his heart out for his love of Lucasfilm, for the love of Willow, and for what the opportunity to do a new series meant to him was so touching. This man is a gem, he brings up some good points, and it must be heartbreaking for him. In interviews, he's brought up how he never thought after the first film they would ever do anything with Willow again. He stated how in a way Disney was a blessing because George never really intended to do more, and so now that fans had a series to clamour onto, 34 years later was massive. It was something that Warwick and his kids were very passionate about. They were involved as well. And say what you will about Willow, I thought it was a fantastic way to kind of bring those story tropes into the modern era of storytelling through streaming services. The young cast was wonderful. Some actors such as Warwick himself and Erin Kellyman were no strangers to Lucasfilm, having worked on Solo, but the ones who were new were fantastic. And I've seen some of these actors crop up in recent films, and you see the potential. If I'm not mistaken, Willow was originally going to be a 3-season arc, and for it to not just be scrapped but also literally taken off the platform is really, really bad. But that is pretty much all of the news I have for today's video. Share your thoughts in the comments down below. Did you catch Willow before it was removed? And what did you think? Do you agree with Warwick? If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. If you enjoy my daily content, please consider supporting the channel. The link to my Patreon is down below, and you get access to videos not found here on YouTube. May the Force be with you, always.